What is up, NorCal Sports Network? As my boy, the wrestler, The Rock says, finally, the Los has come back to NorCal Sports Network. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I just got back from the Bay Area for a week. It was good to just get away from work, from a lot of routine stuff that we all do. It's never a bad thing to reboot and come back refreshed and things like that. So back home now and had to come on to our channel and discuss the 49ers and all the things that have happened and are being talked about over the last 36 hours. You know, you've heard them, local shows, national shows, worldwide shows. Everybody's got an opinion. One thing I learned about social media when it started coming out is it just took hate and anger and overreactions to a whole different level. And that's what I feel has happened since the Niners lost to the Ravens. So just wanted to quickly come on here and discuss it. The first topic I want to talk about is Brock Purdy and this whole narrative about the MVP. Even before this game, I didn't quite know and feel if Brock Purdy was an MVP or maybe he was the leader of the MVP. He has the stats and everything to show it. Quite possibly he could win it and he could still win it. Um, I firmly believe that Christian McCaffrey is being overlooked. And I'll tell you why. The last 5 or 6 weeks, it's been Dak the MVP. Then he has a bad game, and now it's Brock's turn. And then Brock now has a bad game, and now it's Lamar's turn. And if Lamar has a poor game next week, it's going to be back to Brock. I mean, it's just too much shifting up and down when it comes to MVP. And I just feel that this is not a year in the NFL where we've had a quarterback have a superstar Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady kind of year where the stats are just overwhelming, where you have to give them the MVP. Yes, I know the quarterback touches the ball on every play on offense. I know all that. Believe me, I understand that. But at the same time, I think McCaffrey has not had a bad game yet this year. He's been consistent every game. I think running backs, when this whole narrative about running backs shouldn't be paid, I thought it was crap because whether you're a young quarterback or whether you're a veteran, what takes pressure off of a quarterback? The running game. Who was the last person to protect a quarterback on a blitz? Who is the last line of defense so the quarterback doesn't get hit? The running back. Who is the person that is the safety valve when everybody is covered downfield? McCaffrey, the running back. Who gets hit high, low, medium, behind, in the front, in the elbow, in the head? Well, not in the head, they'll call face to face, but who could pretty much get hit anywhere and they won't call a flag? The running back. McCaffrey should be the leader for MVP, period. Shouldn't be Lamar, shouldn't be Purdy, shouldn't be Dak, shouldn't be Jalen Hurts. They've all had good years, but they've also all been up and down. McCaffrey's not been up and down. He's been money week after week after week. When it's all said and done, he could be pushing 24, 25, 26 touchdowns. Amazing year. So I wanted to go and touch that subject that, I think CMC is being overlooked for MVP. I think he should be getting more votes, but we'll see. We all know that more likely it is going to go to a quarterback. And it's a shame how, one bad game on national TV is probably going to knock Purdy out of contention when it's all said and done. Kyle Shanahan, definitely want to discuss him. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not, I don't kiss Kyle Shanahan's ass. I like him very much as a coach. I think he's a great play caller. I was about to give this man his flowers, but then the Raven game happened, and I had to call FTD and say, "Hey, man, can you cancel that? Can you cancel that order? Cancel that order. I'm not sending him his flowers yet." Why do I say that? Here's why. When I watched the game, and I knew the Ravens were not the best team against the run, and I saw the game plan, and I saw them coming out throwing the ball. And then when interceptions happen, I saw them continue to throw the ball. To me, it was almost like, and I could be completely wrong, again, just an opinion, just what I see with my eyes. It seemed to me like Shanahan was trying to get Purdy more votes for MVP. He was going head to head against another MVP candidate on national TV, 2 11-3 teams, the two best teams of the conference. What a showcase to show that my quarterback and my system is the best and should be rewarded as the best. The plan to win the game might have been secondary, because the one knock I always have on Shanahan is sometimes he never bothers to look at the opponent and what the opponent's strengths are. Like I said, the Eagles NFC Championship game, they have a different pass rush than most teams, than all teams. You can't block them with the tight end. You can't just do what you normally do against other teams. You have to adjust to what the other team does. Baltimore, like Cleveland, is very, very good against the pass. And you know why? I'll tell you why. The reason the Niners dominate the NFC is because 50 to 60% of their offense from a passing point of view are hitch and curl routes 10 to 20 yards over the middle of the field. Okay, that's where Purdy throws his anticipate the guy to break even, hit him before he breaks, hit him in stride. Excellent, accurate quarterback. So if you have great corners, but you don't have good cover linebackers, you will be exploited. Philadelphia has horrible cover linebackers. Dallas, horrible cover linebackers. In fact, the whole NFC, with maybe the exception of a young Green Bay defense, but they're young, they're not really established. Nobody in the NFC really has a Dre Greenlaw or a Fred Warner or a Roquan Smith or a Perry Queen or Cleveland's linebacker. The reason Baltimore and Cleveland can defend the Niners like NFC teams cannot is because they have good corners and they have good cover linebackers that can drop back into that middle of the field and that little area that Shanahan and Purdy love to throw to. So when you disrupt that, what do you have to do? You have to make in-game adjustments. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to throw outside the hash marks. You need to be able to run the damn ball. The Ravens are not that great against the run. The Niners average almost 7 yards a carry, and that's not with their quarterback inflating that number. That's not with Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray building up those stats. That's with their running backs. Their running backs, mainly McCaffrey, averaged almost 7 yards a carry. Keep going to it. It's very similar to the Super Bowl against Kansas City. They could not stop Deebo Samuel and jet reverses and jet sweeps or any of those type of gadget plays. So why didn't Kyle keep going to it? That has always been my knock against Kyle. Like, he is such a good, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Like, the dude is such a good play caller, but sometimes he gets in his own way. And sometimes I think he gets a little too egotistical, thinking, okay, we do this great. I don't care what the other team does. I'm going to do it anyway. So I thought the game plan stunk from the get-go. And I thought he put the team kind of behind the chains, trying to prove that Purdy was a better quarterback and was a more MVP candidate than Lamar Jackson. And it backfired. And what was even more frustrating was even after he had thrown the interceptions, and they weren't down 21 points yet, even after he threw, 2 or 3 interceptions, he still kind of kept throwing. Never really committed to the running game. They were not 21 points down. They were only down 16-12 at halftime. So you could have started, running the ball a little bit more, throwing a jet sweep, throwing a counter, whatever the case may be. But that's kind of my little rant about Kyle. Is, again, not putting him down, not saying he's a bad coach, not saying I'm gonna want him fired, nothing like that. I don't know, react like that. I just observe, take notes, mental notes, and make comments and make opinions. That's it. So I think Kyle needs to clean that up. If they do meet Baltimore again in the Super Bowl, you need to come up with a different game plan. I think they could be ran on. And I don't think Baltimore is so much better like everybody is saying. It's hilarious to me to watch these shows and listen to the narrative and this overreaction again that Baltimore is so much more dominant. If they were that dominant, then the Niners wouldn't, and they control the line. You don't control the line if your running backs are averaging almost 7 yards a carry. And you're not controlling the game and you're not that dominant. If you have 3 turnovers to the Niners, 0 at halftime, and the score is only 16-12. If you have 3 turnovers and the other team has 0, you should be up like 21-3, 24-7. They were up 16-12. And the only touchdown the Ravens had were helped by 3 defensive penalties that gave them first down. So I'm not buying that Lamar Jackson is Superman and that he's the clear front runner for MVP. He played like crap for 20 minutes. And he played okay in the second half, actually better than okay, but he didn't put up a Superman performance. So Shanahan's going to have to do better and adjust better in game. And finally, last point is just on the Niners in general. People need to chill out and again, not overreact. The 94 Niners got their ass kicked 40-8 by the Eagles. Sometimes you just get beat and sometimes things bounce your way. Like those interceptions. The first one was tipped and the ball just happened to go to a guy that was right there behind the line of scrimmage. You know, the third one was tipped up in the air, and again, a guy is right there. Lamar threw a ball that was tipped. If nobody noticed, I noticed it. Lamar threw a ball that was tipped, went right through the wide receiver's hands. I think it was Zay Flowers, and there was no 49er behind him to catch it, to intercept it. So sometimes the bounces just don't go your way. Make no mistake about it. Baltimore played better. They deserved to win. They had a better game plan. But all is not lost on the Niners. They just need to, and they're getting a little bit nicked up and they're getting a little injured, which is not good. They need that bye week bad, real bad. And hopefully they can pull through in these next 2 games. But all is not lost on the Niners. They, when they play their best, are the best team in football. They did not play well last night. Baltimore played very well. Thus, they got their ass kicked. It's no more than that. So cool the jets. Let's not overreact. Let's not get overly excited. Let's not think the sky is falling. Get these 2 W's. Might not even need 2 W's. You know, Philly is not that good. Philly almost lost to the Giants at home. They could very well lose one of these next 2 games, and the Niners won't have to. Let's not let it come to that. Let's let the Niners handle their business first and foremost. But it would be nice to have a cushion going into the Ram game and rest some guys that are beat up because they're going to need them. Last point on the Niners, as far as some of the weaknesses they have that they've always had this year, their run defense, especially without Armstead, is a problem. Javon Hargrave is a pass rusher. Nick Bosa is great against the run and the D, but he's not a defensive tackle. So running teams, physical running teams are going to give the Niners problems, especially if Armstead does not come back. This guy that they picked up from the Rams is pretty good, but he needs to be incorporated into the system. So the Niners need to clean up the defensive line as far as defending the run, which in the playoffs, sometimes teams, even that are known for throwing, are going to run the ball a little bit more because the weather comes into play and is a factor. So Niners need to clean that up, and by all means, they need to clean up their offensive line. It is Trent and Banks and everybody else. Feliciano is actually playing pretty good, but they're nicked up right now. And if they don't give Purdy protection, then there could be issues moving forward. So that's about it, guys. Just wanted to come on here, say what's up, and just kind of go on my little 49er rant about a few things, namely, you know, Purdy and the whole MVP, and McCaffrey, I think, should have more consideration. Little bit of a dig at Kyle on what I thought that he did and should have done a little bit better in this game and what he needs to do better moving forward, and just on the Niners' state of mind moving forward. All is not lost. Hang in there. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Talk to everybody soon. Take care.